Hey, it's Scott from Family Wheels, and if I look a little extra relaxed to you, it's because right now I'm driving around in what is probably one of the most luxurious interiors I've ever had the privilege of being in, and it belongs to the Mercedes E53 AMG. It's been an awesome week getting to know this car. Super luxurious, but it's more than just that. The car has a lot going for it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right car for you and your growing family. We'll put it through its paces and let you make the decision for yourself, of course. It's the Mercedes E53 AMG this week on Family Wheels. It's a 3-liter inline-6 turbocharged with a twin scroll turbo, makes 425 horsepower and just under 400 pound-feet of torque, and does all of that while giving you pretty decent gas mileage depending on how you drive it. Mercedes say to expect about 10.5 liters for 100 kilometers. Real-world scenario, we were a bit higher than that, just under 12 liters for 100 kilometers. But of course, it is a pretty fun car to drive, so we've been a little bit heavy on the foot all week. It's also all-wheel drive, so there's some nice performance there. And of course, you get selectable drive modes. There's Eco, Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus. Each of them get a little bit firmer, and of course, you can customize it yourself and sort of select the things you want. It has a selectable exhaust note. I think when you turn it to performance, it just sounds awesome. Get some of the little burbles and bobbles and pops out of the exhaust there as well. Really fantastic. Sounds really cool. Drive-wise, the thing, yeah, it's great. It has all this power and really goes. And in Sport Plus, it feels a bit aggressive, but it's also still a really refined luxury car. This is, after all, a Mercedes-Benz, which brings us to the interior, which we're highlighting at the beginning. And like I was saying, it really is one of the most luxurious things I've been in. It's sporty, but it's so just refined is the word for it. The leather is fantastic. The fit and finish throughout is amazing. Layout-wise, it's a little bit different than what I'm used to. You can see that the seat controls are here on the door, along with the venting and heating. Door handle and window controls here in the side. Through the center console here in the middle, things are a little bit different as well. We have climate controls and a few tactile buttons for the infotainment and stuff, which of course, yeah, we'll get to more in a bit. And then we have a nice sort of storage compartment here with 2 cup holders, some USB support, and wireless charging. Then the infotainment control center is here in the middle, which again, we'll talk about in a sec. Nice armrest that opens down the middle as opposed to flipping up, which is a little bit different, but I actually didn't mind it. And then through the dash here, we have these cool sort of 4 vents that I actually kind of like the look. It reminds me of tailpipes or almost turbines. They seem cool. They also have the LED lighting and stuff in them. Just makes for a really nice sort of sporty yet refined effect. And then as we get into the infotainment system, essentially the dash and the infotainment screen are one unit. It's just one great big screen across the dash here, which gives you a digital dash through the steering wheel here, and then infotainment system to the right of that. And the colors are beautiful. The screen looks great, but it's all just a bit much for me. And this is really my only drawback with the car, is the infotainment system. I will say that in general, I just don't like it. It's controlled by this sort of touch screen pad here, and there's also a click wheel that you can use, but both of them just seemed clunky and sort of unnecessarily technical for me. You kind of have to use your finger to scroll through certain menus to find the sub menu that you want, and then scroll down through that to select sort of what options that you want. It just is not precise or accurate or really easy to use. I like tactile buttons that I can just use by touching, and the idea, like this control system, it falls where your right hand is gonna rest here, so the placement of it is good, but the problem is you have to kind of be watching the screens to find out what you're selecting, as opposed to, you know, just hitting next or, you know, going back and forth. There is a tactile button here for volume and on off of the system, but I would love more than that. I'm okay with this, but it's not there yet. I think it needs to be a little bit more fluid. Also found some issues with Bluetooth syncing here. Oftentimes it would sync and then not stay synced if I got out and back into the car. Just a bit spotty in that sense. But yeah, just in general, I'm just not a huge fan of this system. I like tried, tested, and true. The scroll wheel in some applications, this big, you know, sort of control knob here, in some applications has worked, but here, I also just don't like that it's like underneath the touchpad here. It's just kind of like not the cleanest, most efficient system. The technology is cool. I just wish that it was a little bit more precise and a little less clunky is just the word that I'm going to use for it. Beyond that, there's so much information from the infotainment system that you can get. Our car has the track package, so you can get all sorts of information about like quarter mile times and skid pad and everything, all of that. Super duper cool. It also has this energizing comfort control system, which is very cool, very high end, and also is like kind of a show off thing if you have guests in your car and you want to show them something cool. Basically what it does is comes up with a combination of like lighting and sound effects and music, and as well seat positioning and seat massaging to sort of affect your mood. Like you can choose, you want the car to relax you, you just put that on. You want the car to energize you, you want the car to sort of help you feel calm. You just sort of select the mode that you want, and the car does all of that for you. It's really weird and almost like choosing your menu at a spa. I mean, it just, like I said, it's one of the most refined and luxurious offerings I've seen in the interior of a car. Like, so hats off to Mercedes-Benz for that. It's a really cool sort of bells and whistle thing. There's ambient lighting throughout in all sorts of different colors, and it's not over the top. I think it's just really, really cool. Options wise, yeah, everything that you could want is here. Sunroof that is huge, heated and vented seats, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, integrated garage door opener. We get all the sort of intelligent driving assistance stuff as well, like emergency collision avoidance for in-traffic cruise control, lane departure warning, lane keeping assist, all that sort of stuff. There's a heads-up display available. The self-parking feature, that's really great, as is the backup camera and the 360 camera. Really, really helpful if you're parking in tight spots. And speaking of tight spots, let's run through some of our standardized testing, because the back seat here is quite small. I don't know that I would put adults back there for any long period of time, kind of at all. Even getting in, like, it's nice how they've done it. The seat kind of slides forward automatically when you pull the front seats forward, but it's still a tight squeeze. Back there, it's not too bad in terms of amenities. The seats are heated. There's nice cup holders in the middle. The windows go down, up and down, power, all of that. It's great, but it's a tight squeeze. Putting a car seat back there rear facing, it almost doesn't fit at all. We had to have this passenger seat all the way forward to make it work, and it was still pretty tight. 25 inches from the backrest of the passenger seat to the glove box. And we do get the latch covers though for installing the seat, so that's quite nice. Of course, it would be easier if the seat is forward facing like my daughter Sloan is. That creates a little bit more room back there, but anyway you slice it, it's a tight fit. If the exhaust note is set to quiet, the car is not too bad decibel wise. 62.5 decibels at 100 kilometers an hour on dry roads. We do have some low pro performance tires on this vehicle with the 20-inch rims, so it might be a shade louder. Plus, of course, you can switch that exhaust note to performance and, you know, get an enjoyable note out of it as well. So there is that, but not too bad in terms of the decibel test. Standardized trunk test, it passed. Not really any issues there, but you know, it's a car, so there's not a ton of room. But stroller, diaper bag, camera bag, 2 bags of groceries, and a soccer ball all fit in the trunk pretty easily. And then, of course, let's talk about look back test. This thing, it's a black Mercedes AMG on 20-inch rims. It looks awesome. I got compliments on it everywhere I went. It's not over the top. I think it's classy, but the performance that you get out of it, you can kind of see that when you look at it. Anyone who knows the AMG badge is going to look at this car and know that, yeah, it's a pretty serious machine, but it has this refinement sort of look to it. Of course, the Mercedes emblem kind of gets respect wherever it goes, but in general, I'm going to say that it's a pretty good looking car. It doesn't really pop or jump off the curb, and I think that people who would be looking at this car probably want that. They probably want some subtlety in their car, and I think that Mercedes has found a really great balance there between sort of hot rod performance machine and really subtle sort of executive coupe. So yeah, look back, definitely a pass for me as well. So all in all, I'm going to say that the Mercedes-Benz E53 AMG is a great car for the right person. For me and my family, it would just certainly be too small and too cumbersome to use for everyday use. But like so many other sort of performance-oriented cars that we've tested, if it's the second car or just the commuter that you're going to get to drive maybe by yourself or just with one other person on the way to work and back, and it's not going to be used for sort of weekend family duty, then yeah, it's a fantastic car to have. Like I said, it's almost like you're riding in a spa that, you know, sort of takes care of you and is so concerned with your comfort while driving, but also has an absolute monster of an engine under the hood, just waiting to give you all of the fun and driving enjoyment that you could want. So it's a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde thing in that sense, and I really, really like that. And that, you know, it offers you it's super luxurious, offers you a very luxurious ride, but also gives you a lot of fun if you like to drive. You can just hit the dynamic switch, and next thing you know, it's like you're driving a race car. Sounds awesome, but if it's too loud, you can turn that off. It's just a really, really, really fun car. The drawbacks for me, again, would be the room in the back seat. It's not practical. The fact that this thing has two doors, and again, that infotainment system to me was just a bit too cumbersome. If you're looking for something in a performance coupe or maybe even a performance sedan, but you're considering maybe a coupe, I think it's probably worth a look, and if nothing else, you'll certainly enjoy the test drive. Hey, if you enjoyed the video, give us a like or a subscribe or leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. For Family Wheels, I'm Scott.